Except for
8:14.
Yep. We're just about to go live. So when it goes live, I'm going to play that cold open, you guys, and then you guys, if you could just be quiet during the cold open, and
I'll try my very best, but I cannot make any promises.
You yawned during one of our openings. If you listen close enough,
yeah,
it was great. So I mute you now.
Mark and I are vocal. Can't help it.
Yeah. So
it's who we are.
Places, everybody. Places. Wait a second. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I got to turn on the stream.
8:15.
It's not 8:15. It's 8:14.
No, sorry.
I got 14.
8:14.
Now it's 8:15.
You guys are wrong.
Okay.
I mean, I got 9:14. So
here we go. All right.
Hi, so I'm like at the 31 Flavors at the mall, and I'm trying to use this Miss Pac-Man machine, and I keep putting my quarters in, and like nothing is happening, and the screen is like totally black, and so it's up for service call. Hang on a second. What? Oh, it wasn't plugged in. Okay. Sorry, it's working.
From
Bye.
KOYR Studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's Arcade Radio.
I don't have wings.
Of course not. You're a boy.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. Stimulating opponent.
Well, welcome back to the show, everybody. This is January 5th, 2017. It's the first show of the year.
Yay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Welcome to episode 6 of the Arcade Radio podcast, and a happy new year to everybody. It's about 8:15 or a little bit after. Thanks for joining us in the Arcadosphere. I'm your host, Captain Coyer. Along with me is the legendary Dan Reed.
Oh, hi.
And Mark Time Runner Shields, Mr. Time Runner himself.
Hola.
And then we have on our very first female guest, Jenn May.
Hey there.
Hi.
Hey.
So just some informal introductions. I'm Adam. I am on Clav as Matrix. And I'm your host, Dan.
I'm Dan. I am known as Dan Reed Photo on the Clav. I make a Journey cassette board interface modern thing. You can buy it at ParadiseArcade.com.
Plug.
Mark.
Hi, Mark Shields, Time Runner 88 on the Clav. TimeMachineRental.com for all your time traveling needs. And UncleRicoVan.com for all your Napoleon Dynamite cosplay needs. And yes.
Have you been working on that intro? It's getting better.
I write it down now.
With the words and the writing down.
Let's improv better. It's working for me.
Jen, why don't you give us a short intro to yourself?
Hey, I'm Jen. I'm not on Club. I was for like a day, but I just kind of gave up on
Did you get
I don't
banned?
like to forum things too much. That's a true story. And
That's great.
don't have much more to add from that. So.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. We're
Thanks
just
for
gonna,
having me.
yeah. Well, we're really excited to have you on the show. What we normally do in the next segment is we have a little warm up talking about what's new with you in the arcade world. I have Dan on the list first. Anything new with you, Dan?
No, not this week at all. I got a reproduction wire harness from Markle on Clav, who's that. I think he makes those 720 machines in Chicago.
You have nothing to talk about yet. You're talking about a wiring harness.
Yeah, I bought a wire harness. Are you impressed? It's
I'm
from my
impressed.
Indiana Jones kit
Oh,
that I'm never going to even use.
well, why not?
One day.
Well, because I got Marble Madness in there, and it's kind of hard to top that. So,
Well, why don't you can't you, what's happening here?
what is that? Somebody
I don't know.
calling?
No,
Avon?
I'm hanging up on that. Okay, so,
Don't hang up on our callers.
well, we're not really good at taking calls on this show.
Well, clearly it's not for us because we've done like 20 episodes and no one's called, and
Well,
Jen's on the show.
and if
all
I'm
of a
looking
sudden
right-
it's like
But you haven't
instant
had me
phone
on the
call.
show yet, so it really could have been for me.
You may actually have to be on every show now.
Right.
Yeah. With the amount of, extra likes we've gotten on the page this week, just because of
Yeah.
Jen, I mean, she's basically tripled our popularity.
We're up to 6 people then.
We're up to
Does anybody have the chat open on YouTube?
I do.
You do?
We have 3 people in addition to me.
What?
I better.
We've doubled our listeners
I know. I don't even see the Ryans.
from 1.5 to 3? Sorry to whoever. Anyway. So, Dan, your wiring harness, pretty cool. All right.
Yep, that's it.
Mark?
Oh, let's see. I'm still in the process of assembling Donkey Kong Restores number 2 and 3. I had to actually do a home inventory of all my stuff because I didn't know what I had anymore. It got to that point where I was like, I think I have that. And so I had to actually open up Excel, which I closed for the podcast.
Oh.
Yeah. I did a Super Pac-Man quest for 100,000 points and failed. My Super Pac is set super duper hard, like the hardest levels possible.
Why?
Only 2 players, no free, no extra guys that you get at any point level and stuff.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Well, at Grinkers in 2015, they had Super Pac-Man in the competition, and they had it set to the arcade level was way higher than anybody had ever played it before, and I loved it. I was like, this is like a new challenge. I got to do this. They did the same thing to Time Pilot, so now I got to get a Time Pilot to play it at that level as well. But
I have Super Pac-Man in my Dig Dug, and I'll do up the settings and see how it plays.
oh, it's so good. The first 2 levels, that's where you got to point press, and after that is you just basically got to stay alive. And last but not least, I've been playing NBA Fast Break with my wife every night. It's been 3 weeks, so 21 nights in a row.
Are you kidding me?
Pinball?
That's right.
NBA
Fast Break, the pin. Yes,
I hear a lot about that, Pam.
I love it.
Cool.
You can link them together. You should get another one.
I know. I'm researching doing that. I definitely want one to have next to this one, but I'm also figuring out how to hook it up to a modem and port it through there so that you can play with somebody remotely.
Ah.
I like to play.
Well, I probably
with
should figure out how
somebody.
to do it via the internet, but
I like to play with people remotely.
John told that to George Gomez, and that they were going to try to do that, and he's like, "Good luck with that."
Doesn't sound good.
Yeah,
Did George Gomez design NBA Fast Break?
he did. It's so awesome.
Wow. I'm a fan of his work.
Me too. That's all I got.
That's great. I finally fixed my DK Remix board.
I saw that.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of a Herculean effort because I had the Braze kit in, and I don't know if any of you have run the Braze kit before, but it has these monstrous, nastily huge pins on it, and if you put it into your Donkey Kong board, it's most likely going to wreck the Z80 socket, which it did to mine. Stretched it out so nothing would work in it.
Really?
What? You don't have to beep that. It's all right.
I know, you don't have to bleep. I know what we have to bleep, trust me. I bleep every week, practically.
Yeah, Mark can't say
Okay,
things.
you were saying stretch it out.
So
So easy. So anyway, I ended up having to pull the socket from the Donkey Kong board and put a brand new dual swipe socket in.
Who's eating gum?
I don't know. Sounds like somebody's having a candy bar. So then after that, you guys know that I had wrecked my DK Remix board, right? I broke off 2 pins when I was testing it out. And I also noticed some corrosion on the LS 7400 chip on there. So I socketed the 7400 chip, put a new one in, and then I soldered 2 new legs on.
Okay.
and put it into the Donkey Kong, and it's working. So I got Donkey Kong Remix, Donkey Kong Deranged, and Classic Donkey Kong, and all the scores.
The sounds match up on that?
The sounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Are the sounds right? Because I heard on some of the remixes the sounds don't
No, it's perfect.
match up.
I'm using a 4-board, and the other thing that... There may be some perception of the sound not working because of the demo that's on YouTube. Because the sound is off on that. So, because it's like MAME emulation, and it's not perfect. But on mine, it's great. It's perfect. But maybe it's because I put a new 7400 LS in there. I don't know. It's like a 5 nanosecond instead of a 2 or something. I don't know.
I was an inch away from picking up one of those Donkey Kong boards from High Score Saves when he was selling them. And I think it came with Pauline.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Pauline is cool.
I think that's kind of a neat idea to swap it up a little bit.
Yeah, I was reading up on Pauline because, originally it was Jumpman and the Lady.
Right. I was just actually looking at my Donkey Kong Cabaret, and it says Save the Lady from Donkey Kong. And I was like, they didn't have a name.
Wikipedia actually misreports that the Japanese version called it the Lady because the American versions called it the Lady also. Or her, the Lady, not it. Well, she isn't real, I guess. But nonetheless, she was called the Lady. And then it was... What game was it? Where she started, I guess later versions of Donkey Kong that came out called her Pauline. And she was Pauline on was she Pauline on the Saturday morning cartoon or something too?
I wonder if that changed then, because I really doubt the Cabaret came out before the Upright.
Well, then
there's a picture of all three of them. Cocktail.
They all came out at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then and then she became Princess Peach.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, they all release them at the same time, just depending on what location wants what.
Yeah,
interesting.
Then she became Princess Peach, right?
Is that the deal?
Well,
Really?
it's not Pauline. Well, they're two different characters, but
I think there's Pauline, Peach, and Daisy. But I mean, that's all in the newer stuff. But.
Yeah. Daisy.
Daisy.
Well, then you have the bastard.
I thought they
cousin.
broke up, really. I mean, come on.
Actually, there is an article somewhere that talks about them breaking up, which I think is pretty sad that there's like some sort of fan fiction about Mario and the Lady. He didn't like the Lady, so they split up.
If Kermit the Frog can break up with Miss Piggy, this can happen also.
Yeah, that show didn't even exist.
That show was awesome. Shut up.
It was terrible, and it got canceled for a reason.
Because it was awesome, and they just couldn't handle it.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
The
Right?
Muppets. It was on ABC. It was so good.
It was on for like 2 episodes because it sucked.
The Muppet Show.
20 episodes.
Oh, the Muppets, yeah, but it was like not kid appropriate at all.
I love that.
I'm not going to say
A lot of
anything.
these PG parents didn't though. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, Jen, what have you been up to in the week of arcade collecting here? I've noticed some things on your page.
Went to a warehouse yesterday, and I picked up a couple games and sold a couple games already from that warehouse pick. And I've been working on restoring a Zookeeper for about the last 36 days and full repaint. And I got the stencils to re-stencil it, so I'm not going to go the vinyl route on it. And
so give us a rundown of how you approach your paint.
So,
do you roller? Do you spray? What do you do?
A little bit of both. I mean, I do the rollers if you use the foam roller, but then I do a lot of wet sanding.
Oh.
After that, so I mean, if you wet sand it, I've had people come over and feel the cabinets and really think it's actual laminate on there, not a paint job on there. So it's really more or less about the prep work put into it and the amount of hours that you're going to sand in between the coats. Sure, it's going to be easier to spray, but I guess, I mean, if anybody follows me on my regular page and they see how much of the pain my HOA is around here, I can't get away with much. And being that my garage is also, the workshop and the game room, I can't really just start having a paint booth in there.
Yeah.
So I mostly roll it, sand it, after I prime it and all that, and then put the stencils on.
So you use enamel?
Oil. I like the oil-based paint. I mean, some people use latex. and all that. But the stuff that I use, I get it from Sherwin-Williams. They actually put an enamel hardener in it as well, so it makes it a lot more chip resistant and durable.
I use the exact same paint.
Ditto.
Yeah. So I've been using enamel from Menards, and it's hard as hell to like actually wet sand. It's a mess. So I wonder if the oil base would be better.
Sherwin-Williams, dude.
So, yeah, I do the oil base with the enamel, but I mean, I kind of I'm not into manual labor that much, so I just use most of the mouse or the orbital sander or the palm sander until about 800 to 1200 grit, and then I finish it off with 2000 by hand. So I mean, I let the machines do most of the work, and then do the rest by hand. So
that's good advice. Yeah. I painted my Donkey Kong cabinet. It's got sort of I used a super smooth roller, but it's still bumpy. It's not like totally orange peel, but it's noticeable. It's not like a refrigerator, but it's noticeable.
Not acceptable.
Yeah, no. I know. Sorry, guys. Could I send it to one of you and have you wet sand it for me now? Because
you can.
What's a refrigerator?
You can sand it down and bring it down, and we'll HVLP it.
It's an arcade game without any boards in it or a monitor. Refrigerator is a new game that Konami put out last week.
Remember that commercial in the 80s where it actually was like, you guys got to remember it, come on. And it was like the fruits and the vegetables in there, and then the little thing would go, refrigerator raider, do you know it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yep.
I do.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't remember what it was even promoting. I think it was milk, actually. I don't quite remember, but...
Yeah, I remember the hamburger with no eyes, too, though. Just hamburger didn't have eyeballs. And Grimace.
The Hamburglar didn't?
Rabble.
But he was wearing a mask, right?
But Hamburglar was wearing a mask.
But it was like Batman. He had just two little white circles. And then later on, they added eyeballs to his mask.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they made him less scary.
Yeah. I liked him scary.
You guys want to know a funny fact about me? I had never had McDonald's until I was in 7th grade. Huh?
No wonder you're so thin.
Yes.
What was wrong with your parents?
I don't know. I remember being in, I think, junior high or whatever. They're like, let's go to McDonald's. I'm like, I've never eaten there. And I was like, I scared the hell out of everybody when I said that.
Fry Guys?
It was terrible. It's still terrible.
Yeah, it's great. No, I don't mess with McDonald's.
I love their breakfast sandwiches. That's what I eat there.
I mean, I'll go for their high C orange drink all day long, but...
They still make that?
High C orange drink? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. We used to get it for sporting events when I was in like T-ball. Be like a big jug of high C orange drink. I don't even know it was called high C back then. But it was just called orange drink.
Now you're making me thirsty for Ecto Cooler. You guys ever had
Dude, I got one in my hand right now.
an Ecto Cooler?
Bullshit.
In my hand right now.
Bullarky.
Oh, hey, say Kevin Brewer says that Jenn stenciled a Miss Pack for him and did a great job in the chat.
I did.
Can you... What?
Yeah. And Wayne H says he prefers Tang.
You know what else? I'm moving to Florida.
Just tell Wayne H. He can just tell him.
You trying to say Tang is better than Ecto Cooler?
If that's what he's saying, I'm telling him we can no longer be friends.
Dear
like
Wayne,
we
can be no longer.
Hey Wayne, I'm gonna bring you a high C Ecto Cooler on Tuesday night. So when we go out for dinner for your birthday, I'm gonna bring you this high C orange Ecto Cooler, and you're gonna drink it.
We have to wait a delay until he hears you say that, and I'll tell you what he says.
Yes, there's like a 10-second delay for the listeners. But anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, before I so rudely interrupted you, and you're talking about your technique on the games, you were going to mention something else after that.
Me?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember.
Just working on the Q-Berts, rebuilding power supply boards and filter boards.
The Q-Berts?
Working on a missile command. Q-Berts, I think I had 5 at one time. I'm down to 2 here now, though, right now.
She's got 2 Qs.
2 Qs. 2 tubins.
2 tubins? 2 Qs.
I have a tubin.
I have 2 tubins.
You're going to get along with Mark if you have two of
Poopins.
everything, because that's what Mark does.
Yeah.
He just
I like
collects
that.
2 of everything.
I like, everything.
One he keeps in the package. So, yeah, well.
Yeah, so that's all. Missile Command, I just got one RAM, throwing a RAM error. So I think my buddy Lewis down in Miami, he's supposed to be sending me one. So that one should be up and running. I picked that up for $50 not too long, like maybe a week ago. And a Missile Command, really nice shape considering.
My Missile Command I got for free.
You always got to be a topper. I'm just kidding.
Did she just call me?
You know,
a topper?
Adam, what's this whole look at me thing you got going on right now?
I know. It's like
I got my Missile Command for free.
I mean,
I was gonna.
I don't want to make you cry. I don't want to make you cry with all the stuff I've gotten.
I'm a topper. I'm a one-upper.
Now, this is a true story. I went to a bar in North Carolina when I was living there, and I actually had these arcade tattoos around my ankles. And I was sitting there at the bar, and this guy comes up to me and he asks, if I liked arcades. And I was like, and I kind of looked at him like, how the hell do you know I like arcades? Because I
You forgot about your tattoos.
It's like, so he's like, well, I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, my dad used to work for Brady Distributing. And at my house, which is only about an hour from here, is a garage full of arcade games. He's like, over the years, we've just been throwing them away. And he's like, if you want to come and get them, you can just have whatever we have left. And I was like, all right, maybe this is just a ploy to get me back to his house. I don't know, but I'll jump in. What the heck?
Sure,
right?
why not?
So, why not, right? It's arcade games. You can't go wrong. So I go out there, and sure enough, there's. I think I was. I didn't want you to edit the cuss word. I was trying.
That was Dan.
Sure
Dan
enough,
has no qualms.
Sure enough, there was. I got a couple dig dugs, kangaroo, I think, a Galaga, Miss Pac-Man, some other ones, like a couple new old stock monitors with like 5 or 6 other monitors, and a couple others. I don't remember. There was like maybe 7 or 8 games and a whole bunch of parts and stuff. And I go look at it and I was like, all right, cool. I'll bring my trailer back. And he's like, oh no, we'll just deliver it for you. So not only did I get everything for free, they just went ahead and delivered it too. And
Man,
that was
Oh my God.
And the only thing I really had to do to give them back, and I feel terrible because I still haven't even finished it. And I started it maybe a year ago at this point, is he said his favorite game growing up and the only one that he always played was a magic sword. So there was a magic sword in the mix. And he asked if I would restore it for him. And I said, yeah. But when I got it, it was just monitor problems, board problems, wiring problems, power supply problems. So I actually started it from scratch, did the JAMA harness, fixed the board, got the monitor. Well, fixed the monitor, and then my son shut the garage door and it necked the monitor. And he only was in the hospital for 3 days after that. It was bad. Wasn't that bad? No, I didn't. I mean, I was really mad, but what can you do? It's an accident. So
I have a similar story.
I LCD'd it now, and I honestly just have to get it back up to him in North Carolina. But that's really what it cost me for all those games was rebuilding a magic sword. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's that.
I have a similar story. I was in a bar and I had my tattoo was showing on my elbow.
I'm a one-upper.
And
the
one
there was
you
this
mean
guy.
your lower back tattoo, the timestamp?
We don't talk about it here.
All right, moving on.
It's the Arcade News with John Reed.
Dan.
Double Dragon 4. You guys interested in this?
Yeah. No.
So,
yes.
Double Dragon 4. Original team back together who made the original Double Dragon, original music composer,
Oh, really?
and it's 8-bit.
Huh. What's it going
So
to? What?
Huh?
What platform?
PC, PS4, Xbox One coming out later this month. I'm very interested in it. I think it's cool as hell. You should watch the trailer on YouTube.
Okay.
You guys seen this, Mark?
No, but I'm going to check it out. I love
Yeah.
Double Dragon.
Yeah, Double Dragon 4.
So
It's
Double
just-
Dragon 4, Daytona 3. What's next?
I know, right? So, coming back.
Sweet.
Super Mario Run. We have to talk about Super Mario Run.
Oh, yeah. I've downloaded that.
Yep. Did you pay for it,
Nope.
Mark?
I downloaded it, haven't paid for it.
Jen?
Nope.
So it has generated more than $30 million in gross revenue, which translates to about 3 million players buying the full game. And I think that was, the first month it was out?
Yeah, it had like an insane number of downloads the first week.
Yeah, 90 million. It's amazing.
90 million downloads?
Yep.
Whoa.
So that is, I don't know, pretty
then,
damn amazing.
So how many of the 90 million people downloading it actually paid for the game?
3 million. So not,
That's 3%.
3%?
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing.
Wow.
Seems kind of like a failure.
No.
It made 30 million.
I absolutely guarantee you this will change Nintendo completely. We'll start seeing more and more titles on iOS and Android.
Donkey Kong Run.
Donkey Kong.
Maybe Mario Kart.
Okay.
Well, they already had the Pokemon hit, right?
You got to run, though.
No. That had nothing to do with Nintendo.
Pokemon?
No.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
No,
it had nothing to do.
What?
No.
Not related.
They owned stock in the company that made it or something, and it was incorrectly reported that Nintendo made it. And I think Nintendo went up $4 million in a day when that was reported.
So, Pokemon Company is a Japanese consortium between Nintendo, Game Freak, and Creatures. Nintendo is a primary investor of Pokemon.
Yeah, they're an investor.
And co-creator.
Well, they didn't design it. They didn't have anything to do with it, really.
Well, they
It
collect
was
money.
actually a different interface before it was Pokemon, and it was a big flop. I mean, it was actually like something with mythical creatures out there, and it was the exact same game, but like they only had like maybe, I don't know, 100,000 downloads and stuff. But it was the same thing. There was geotags in the stops and everything that you collected these items from, but it was a flop. Then they threw the Pokemon onto it, redid the interface, and that's when it blew up.
Interesting.
I'm sort of surprised that took off the way that it did anyway. The interface on that thing is horrid. It's horrid. I can't imagine people are using it, but whatever.
I'm going to lie, I play it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
kids
tough to
play
look
it.
at for me.
I have 2 kids that play it. 3 were playing it originally, and now it's only... You know what they do mostly, though, is they like try to play it while we're driving around.
Oh.
Yeah, it don't work
really
anymore.
hard.
They changed it, yeah.
What? No.
What? They changed
You
it?
can't drive and play? I love that.
Nope. Yeah, when you're driving, like you got to say, well, hey, I'm not driving this, or whatever. I'm a passenger. But even if the Pokemon still don't stop, like pop up, and then you can't even hit like the little things if you're going over 15 miles per hour. You actually got to like come to a stop and play.
Yeah, actually, I think it's 7 miles an hour. I read that somewhere
Is it 7
too.
now?
Yeah,
Okay.
they made it so basically you can't even ride your bike and play it.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You could run and play it.
Well, yeah, they probably did it for liability reasons, right?
Yeah, because somebody wrecked trying to catch a Pokemon on the highway.
Yeah. Or got wrecked.
In Barcade news, and this is getting old quickly every time we have a show.
Yeah, we should just do like a generic news item every time we start. Right after your intro, we should just go. And today, 27 new barcades opened across the country.
Jen, this is your neck of the woods, I believe, Orlando, Florida.
Well, a little north.
About an hour from me, yeah.
Much better than Minnesota.
Yeah.
Joysticks Arcade and Lounge, opening up in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, it's called Joysticks. It's the same name as that movie from the 80.
Is there a name on that? On who's doing that?
I don't know, but I looked at the photos and that thing looks really, really sweet.
Yeah.
Like there's...
Because I was honestly hit up by Mike out of Missouri about something that's going to be popping in Orlando, and was asking me if I was interested in running down there, for 15 hours every other week or something, and doing something. He hasn't given me the full details on it, but if it's the same thing, then I know about it. But I might be part of something if that's the same thing we're talking about. I don't know.
Check it out. It's Joysticks Arcade Lounge, and it's actually opening this month, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks great.
I can't wait. The bar with the grid and the Donkey Kong stuff behind it.
And they have,
so good.
just for fun,
I'm gonna,
you know,
I'm gonna text Mike right now and ask him.
just for fun in my arcade, I made a drink menu. So I have a drink called the Pac-Man. I have a drink called the Omega Race. Every one of my games, I made a custom cocktail for, and then I made a book. But they did a similar thing. Looking here on their website, their first drink is called the Cubert, but then they have a bunch of movie themed games, and one's called the Dude.
Love it.
Yeah, so
Love the Dude.
Yeah,
My favorite movies.
Mine too.
The bar with the marquees lit up underneath, dude, that is a sick touch. Did you see that?
I'm stunned at the beauty of this place compared to other barcades. This thing is slick. It's like Swingers meets arcade bar.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's really cool.
Yeah, it's flipping awesome. Blip, blip.
How can anyone even really ever know that?
From the internet.
Yeah.
I'll probably not get down there until next year, though. So I hope it's still open.
Yeah.
My wife and I are hitting some Disney World, so we're definitely going.
My trip this year is going to be to Arizona.
On purpose?
Yeah, my mom and her husband.
Oh,
yeah.
Silence.
Yeah.
And one more, I think we'll cover one more thing here. The Nerdist is reporting that they're finally selling that world's smallest MAME machine using the Raspberry Pi Zero. Have you guys seen this thing? It is just crazy small.
I saw it.
Isn't it like the size of that, oh no, I've seen one like the size of that Christmas ornament. But
Yeah, that's the one.
It's that small.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's tiny. And you can actually play, some of the games on it. Not that you'd
I don't
want
know how I
to.
feel about it.
I feel like it's very small.
I would eat it.
You would eat it?
Yeah. See what happens.
That would hurt. That would hurt to poop out.
I didn't think of that.
That would just
I thought it was going to be like gum where you keep it. Huh.
ABC gum. Nobody likes that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Chicken fight like a robot.
Has ABC gum already been chewed? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. Well, we're not really talking about it. We're just he was going to eat the arcade game, and I just thought it wouldn't end well.
Aw.
All right, then, fine. So I think that's the sign of us for us to start our interview. Go ahead, Dan. Start the interview.
Go.
I'm taking a new approach here. Wait, here, I'll give you another cue. Welcome, Jenn, to the show. Jenn to N. Jenn to N. .com to the show. Okay, Dan, start the interview.
Jenn, why don't you give us some background on maybe who you are and what you do for a living? Maybe a little bit about your collection and, how you kind of got into collecting.
That sounds scripted.
Yeah, it really did.
Let's try that again.
Never.
Go ahead.
Jenn, why don't you give us some background?
You're doing it again.
Who you are, what you do for a living, maybe something about your collection, and how about how you maybe got into collecting.
Oh.
Yeah,
we're listening.
Those are really good questions.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Let me see if I can remember all that. So for what I do for a living, for about 15 years, I was into retail management. Nothing too fancy. No big stores or anything. Just usually mall retail I've been doing for 15 years. And production management. I have a background in security and also in high-end home remodeling, like a lot of tile work and drywall and stuff like that.
That probably comes in handy when you're restoring games, huh?
A little bit. So I don't know, I have a real bad back and knee problem, so I don't work as much, but I do work sometimes as in a production thing for a couple stores. So I can work when I want, so it's nothing like that. So I always have the ability to, at a drop of a dime, go get a game if I hear of one. Also, I could just be like at work and I'd be like, hey, I gotta go. There's an arcade game emergency. So it's kind of works out like that. So I guess it all started like maybe 14 years ago.
Wow.
And we had a litter of puppies and little Pomeranian puppies. and posted a flyer for him for sale. And this guy wanted his name's Walter Hessinger. He's there in St. Louis, and he wanted a puppy. And he didn't have. Well, I mean, I guess he had money, but he was like he's one of the guys that likes to trade and stuff. And he offered up a cocktail table Frogger for the puppy. And I was like, that kind of sounds interesting. Sure. So he brought it on over and he picked out the puppy and stuff. And, like a couple weeks later after I had it, it broke. And I was like, wow, I was a little upset, but, call him up. And he's a cool guy. So he came over and he showed me, what was wrong with it and what was going on. There was a power supply. So he replaced it for me. And I was a little upset. Then he started telling me about the auctions, that there was some auctions and stuff in the Belleville, Illinois area, super auctions when they were kind of popular before all hell broke loose with that. And we went to the auction maybe 2-3 weeks later and picked up a Miss Pac-Man and a Captain America and the Avengers. And then from there, I mean, probably had about maybe 5 games in that house. And then when we moved from that house to a real big house, I had about, at one time, I want to say 45, 55 games in the basement. I've ripped out walls and rebuilt rooms and stuff just to fit all the games. And then moving over the course of the years, probably just dwindled down. I'd sell off a lot and buy back some. But right now I've got in my personal collection 25 arcades and 3 pinballs. So.
Nice.
That's I still have the Frogger. I still have the Frogger arcade game too. So
do you really? That's amazing.
I do.
So
yeah, it's actually ripped into like 100 pieces right now. I was gonna sell it. I really was, because I was like, I got the stand up one, and then the cocktail table really doesn't flow. But now that's ripped in 1 million pieces, and I'm like restoring the games. I said I'll just restore that one and put it all back together, and maybe just make it an end table or something for now.
So those 25 that you have over 13 years, you've probably refined your collection down to something unbelievably specific and exactly what you wanted. Would that be right?
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is what I have in my collection is just games that I remember playing. More or less, like my mom would take me to the bowling alley up in Maplewood, Missouri. It was Saratoga Lanes, and it's an upstairs bowling alley, and it's been there, 30, probably 40 something years. And there was a Bubbles, a Frogger, a Miss Pac-Man, and a Capcom Bowling. Those were the 4 arcade games there. They had the pool tables and stuff. So those would be the ones that really I would get to play. And then then go into other bowling alleys. I was probably like 12 or 13. So that's when the Simpsons and the Turtles came out. I don't like those games, even though I remember playing them as a kid. They just don't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I love Nintendo stuff. So I do have a full Nintendo row, but I'm always like kind of interchanging those. I mean, I got Dr. Mario Jr., 3, Donkey Kong 3, and then I got the Play Choice and the Punch Out and Super Mario
and a DK.
But I've had 3 red DK, 3 true red DKs over the years, and maybe 4 or 5 blue ones. And it seems every time I get one in, somebody wants to just give me a stupid amount for it. So it's just like, all right, I know I'll get another one at some point. So I just don't keep the DKs around for some reason. I'm not going to say I don't like it. I don't like it because I'm not good at it. So, I mean, it's a cool game, but I just suck at it. So I don't really play it too much.
It's a very hard game. It's a very hard game.
It is kind of hard. And it seems to be the ones that I had were like on super aggressive barrel mode. So they're like on fire and like 40 barrels are coming down like before you even get to the first ladder. And it's
funny that the kit that I put in has Donkey Kong Deranged, and instead of leveling off at like level 5 or whatever the difficulty gets, it continues to increase in difficulty as you reach the kill screen. So it literally will throw 40 barrels down at you on the screen at some point. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of like selling off your DK games, and I've noticed you're kind of you're quite the enabler when helping to deliver games to people in the hobby, and like all of a sudden you're in a warehouse and I got 8 of these and 2 of them are going to this guy, and you're taking pictures with people, and you're just, I mean, it's that's what caught my eye about you, is that you're so willing to help people like in the hobby get a hold of something. And I just thought it was really cool. And at first I thought you like drove truck for a living or something, because I'm like, what the heck? She's like driving all over the country with these games and like delivering them to people. And if I lived anywhere near you, I'd be like, could you deliver this? Could you deliver that? So
I just used my Tahoe and a trailer for the most part, and just load it up and go. I mean, usually like what happens is if I go into a warehouse and like say somebody hits me up and they're like, hey, I'm really looking for this game. I mean, it could be a Frogger, it could be a Miss Pac-Man, it could be something totally uncommon. I'm looking for this game. And if I go into a warehouse, like I mentally know it's kind of hard, and I do apologize. I mean, I have like 50 people that I've like not even responded to like on a daily basis, just because it's crazy. And I just had to take a break for a while. It just got overwhelming. So I took a couple weeks off right at the holidays, and I never even fully took the time off. I still kind of like selected people I was kind of helping out, but I just had to take a break from people at one time because it got much. But I do have a notebook and I have a list. Like people are looking for, jungle hunts or jungle kings or zookeepers or, and then there's the people that reach and they're like, I want a reactor or I want a major havoc or I want paper boys. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. But I mean, I got you down on the list. If I ever do come across it, I got you.
Yeah. So
I go in there with a mental note of if I hit a warehouse, then I know what to grab because I know what people are wanting. And I know that I don't have to sit on them that long. If they're working, great. If they're not and they want a project, great. If not, I'll just go ahead and fix it and then sell it. So there's a couple aspects on how I do it. But when and then by the time I get everybody, I kind of have a set thing. I've never went any really further than Arkansas over to the West Coast, but I've got like Ohio, Tennessee, Illinois, Indiana, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware,
Illinois
Pennsylvania, North, South, and Georgia and Florida. So like that's kind of thing. I do have a Texas trip on the books that I got to hit. I've never been down to Texas, so that'll be
Mark,
first,
come on down. Where in Texas?
Austin, Texas.
Oh, I love Austin.
Got to go see Brett Butler down there. He's got 4 cabarets here that I got to get down there for him. So.
Cool.
So take the cabaret corner.
No.
What's that?
I was like, I have to go. I'll be right back. No.
So give us a rundown of your warehouse rates. How many warehouses have you been privy to anyway? I know there's tons of people living vicariously through you on both your Gen 2.
Is, yes. I probably like single-handedly have I can't say single-handedly because I did team up with a guy and it kind of makes it a lot easier when you have a partner to do this with, and not only is it easier on your back, but it's easier financially too. And you just kind of go in with a game plan and you say, all right, well, if there's this games, sometimes we'll split them half and half, and other times we'll just, flip coins, or sometimes we'll kind of categorize them. If there's like a Tron and a Robotron or something, we'll put those in there, and then we take turns picking from each category. So we worked pretty good together on doing that. But I think within this last year, I want to say probably there was maybe 20, 25 warehouses and I can't, sometimes there's just so many games, you just can't get them all out. So you really just gotta, and I don't like really cherry picking the operators and stuff, because like I don't really like going in there and cleaning them out of all their games and just taking the best of the best at the prices I'm getting. But sometimes that's what you kind of have to do that at the same time, because you can't bring 250 arcade games with you.
This is the part of the show where I say, that sounds made up.
So
20 warehouse, like in Minnesota, there's like 2 warehouses and everybody knows about them.
Well, I mean, it's not just in one state. I mean, I've hit them here in Florida, and North Carolina, and South Carolina, Missouri, Tennessee. So it's not like they're us all like right here in a little clustered
out of all those,
they're spread out.
Out of all those warehouses, which ones are the worst? Like, which ones have the worst? Sort of typically the worst environment for arcade cabinets.
Like you mean in the region? Like I would say. Anywhere that it gets hot, cold, rain, snow. Like Florida has termites, so that's kind of a crap thing. And then St. Louis, you have the hard winters and stuff. So if they're in barns and you got, holes in the barns and they're getting wet and cold and frozen, you got a lot of flaking bezels and marquees and a lot of problems that way. I mean, I was in one in North Carolina and I was going after a zookeeper and the floor was rotted out and I fell through the floor. Messed up my rib.
Jeez.
And I did save the zookeeper parts though, so I mean
you said that earlier. Yeah, that's awesome. And then like termites, we don't get those here. So
they're bad here. I mean, I've picked up cabinets that were, I like, so say an average cabinet weighs 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I've picked up a Miss Pac-Man single-handedly. I mean, I could pick it up like a feather. It was just like literally just this, like the laminate on the outside, the laminate on the inside, and everything in the middle of it was gone. I have pictures of it. Like it was bad. So termites got it, but I mean, the monitor was still good, and all the metal parts on it were still good. So It was still salvageable to save other games.
What was the saddest arcade you ever saw?
What do you mean?
Well, saddest find. Like when you went in and you're like, oh, that's too bad.
Oh, that the one where I fell through. I mean, just the games were just melted in the floor.
Oh.
There was a cabarets, Pac-Mans, Miss Pac-Mans, the Zookeeper, A food fight was in there. I mean, it's just the roof had leaked and just literally just all the wood was just rotting and it looked like, just like literally games melting into the floor.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. And now the best one I would find, I wouldn't say it's my best one to date, but I would say one that's memorable or like really a cool story to date is I was actually just back in St. Louis in April. My sister had gotten married and my aunt passed away. So it was I was there for that. And I was meeting up with my mom. I was going to go to lunch with her. I hadn't seen everybody in a long time. And I'm always constantly like, if I'm not there doing warehouses and stuff, I'll hit Craigslist and stuff if I'm bored. So I was waiting for my mom to show up for lunch and I just jump on Craigslist and I see this pinball posted and I knew somebody looking for a pinball. It was Bobby Orr pinball. So I was like, oh, and the guy's like $100 pinballs, come and get them out of this. I bought this, we're revamping this building we bought and we have to get all the crap out of here. And there was arcade games and pinballs in there. So there was like a Bobby Orr and a couple other EMs and stuff. And it was like $50 to $100 for everything in there. Well, per piece, and there's like maybe 10 or 12 pieces. So I pull up the MapQuest and I see that it's literally 5 miles from where I'm sitting right now. And my mom's like not there yet. And I'm like, crap. So like I'm scrolling through the pictures and I'm scrolling through them and I see, it's like pinball, crap, pinball. Then the last picture on there is the infamous, it's a blue computer space. So I don't know if anybody listening is familiar with the computer spaces or not,
I love
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, is this a computer space? Okay. So I call the guy and I'm like, hey, I live in Florida, but I'm here visiting, I'm about to eat lunch with my mom. I was like, I would be interested in the pinball. He's like, I already got somebody here loading it up. So I was like, well, darn. So,
don't worry, that doesn't count.
Okay.
Damn in hell don't count.
Like,
You just don't say.
Is there any way that you could just hold that blue thing for me? I was like, I don't know what it is, but it looks interesting. Can you hold that blue game for me? I was like, I'm at lunch with my mom. I'll be done. I could be down there in like 45 minutes. And I was going to cut lunch with my mom short because I was leaving to go to Indiana and then back home. So he was like, yeah, sure. So he gives me the address and I throw down this lunch faster than anybody's business. And I'm like, all right, Mom, got to go. It's nice seeing you. 10 minutes, got to go. So I'm on my way down there and I get there and he gives me the wrong address. So I'm like, crap, right? So I'm like frantically calling him. So I was like, man, and he's not answering. So like 10 calls later, I block out my number and I hit him back and he's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, yo, you gave me the wrong address. And he's like, oh, I meant to tell you north, not south. It's all good. I'm just 2 blocks up. Cool. So I get there, right? And so the guy's still loading pinballs. Like, I guess this guy's cleaning them out with the pinballs, not even looking twice at the computer space. So I walk in there, and I'm like, all right. So I'm looking it over and it looks like a bum kind of peed all over the front of it. Or, I don't know. It smells, the monitor's in there, but it's kind of like dangling and it's got the board set. Now at this point, it's on your famous cloth thing. And now it's all in uproar, right? And I'm there, it's in front of me and this dude's phone is blowing off the hook now at this point. So I'm like trying to negotiate with them and I'm just like, well, what do you want for it? And he's like, I don't know, make me an offer. And I hate when people play that game. I tell people to make me an offer, but I hate making people offers. I just know how it is. So I'm like, I don't know, man. And I'm just looking it over and I was just like, I just don't know. What do you want for it? And he's like, come on, just make me an offer. And as I'm saying I'm about to say 500, right? As I'm about to say 500, I was just like, he goes, you know what? Just give me $80 or I'm going to turn this thing into a reptile tank.
Oh no.
My God.
I said, what? And he goes, yeah. And I said, a reptile tank? And he goes, yeah, that's all I see this thing being good for. And I'm like, $80? I was like, $80? And he's like, yeah.
I'll pay you $5.
And I'm like, I probably think I broke my wrist trying to grab money out my pocket, And
You should have thrown down and said, hell no, it's going to be an aquarium.
So I buy it for $80, right? And
$80.
And I'm like, he's like, oh, do you need it? Do you need any help load it? I was like, nope. I picked it up and I was like, car, like quicker than anybody's business, right? So I was like, nope. I was like, okay. So I throw it in there, and so I left. I was leaving St. Louis, but on my list, because I said I got people on my list, I was like, I take the picture with it, and I hit it with the 3 people on the list that were looking for it. And I said, hey, I just picked this up for like $80. And I know you guys are interested in it or whatnot. So I want you guys to make me an offer on what you're going to pay for it. And they all threw their offer at me, and it ended up going to Colorado there.
For $85?
How much?
For $85?
I I want to say he paid $1,500 for it. So, I don't exactly remember, but it was around 15. So.
Well, I have a similar story. Last week I found a computer space.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then you woke up.
I got mine for $75. But that never happens to me. You know my free missile command that I was talking about earlier? It ended up costing like $675 to restore. Because there was nothing on it that was salvageable. Except for the cabinet, which I stripped the artwork, all new artwork, new cap monitor. The marquee was good. That's about the only thing. The control panel was totally stripped and repainted black, so I had a new one from Take Man that I bought for a couple $100.
Take Man.
And then I, restored the coin door and all new lamps, locks, T-molding. I mean, you know what it's like when you put all that money into a game. So you better love the game. So my free missile command was and I had to fix the board set too. So
Jen, I have a question for you. So out of every one of your raids, has there ever been anything that you've wanted that you haven't come across yet?
Yes, I actually did. I picked it up in Wintersville, North Carolina. There was a barn find there, and there's 20 games in there. And I never came across it in the wild, and I still have yet to see one. And again, it's a Hyper Sports, and I actually picked it up and it had a working board in there. The cabinet was gone. I totally had to restore the cabinet, new artwork and everything. But I think I ended up paying like $50 for it out of the barn. I mean, I bought all the games out of there, but yeah, it was a Hyper Sports, so I was excited to get that one. So
nice.
It's sitting right next to my track and field.
Konami. So that's like a track and field by Konami.
Konami? Yeah.
Konami?
Konami.
Oh yeah, Konami.
Is that how you say it?
No, it's Konami, but I say Konami because I'm American. It's like Taito, right? Everyone says Taito.
Tato.
I say Taito.
Taito.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm up in the air because I think Rick he did that hyper field side art on there, which really looks nice. I do like that, and I got both the Hyper Sports and the track and field sitting next to each other. So if I did come across one more game that in this current space that I have, I would probably combine those into one cabinet and put a different game in, put one in there too. But
Rick was on our second episode. So
yeah, he's a good guy.
He
does a lot of artwork for me, as does Dan with Mentor Signs, and he's Escape Pod, and then I get Rich at Thistle Game. So it just depends like who I go with what artwork. If it's like for me, if it's a keeper for me, I go with Rich at Thistle Game. But then if it's custom work, I go with Rick. And then if it's something that I'm just going to flip, I go with, not saying that anything on quality, guys, like don't even get me with that. It's just the prices for it, sure. The quality's great, but some people can outdo on the prices and stuff. So I'll go with Dan for the game because he's got better pricing.
Well,
sometimes I don't.
And admittedly, like Rich has stuff that, they all kind of do their own. They have their own niches.
They all have their own thing, and they really should get along, but they kind of go at each other sometimes over it.
Yeah, we were thinking about trying to get all of them on the show at the same time. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
I want to get Darren and Rich on.
Darren and Rich on at the same time. Just give them a pair of gloves.
Yeah, but I do go through everybody with art. I try to give everybody a fair chance and try all it out. I mean, CPO or arcade or what is it? What's the control panel overlays? I really like them. I use them for all my track and field control panel overlays all the years and stuff like that. So.
Do they use like 3M product too? And
the texture, they have really nice quality textured control panel overlays. They were actually only one of the few ones that had them for the cocktail tables, track and field cocktail tables that I had to restore once that I bought from Coin Op. I bought it was turned into a something where you ride a bicycle and you got to burn calories or something. I forgot, Road Clash or something. I don't know what the word was. But.
It's what is that called, Mark? What is that? The pedal one.
Where you drive the bicycle and you. No. It was,
I'm just kidding.
It's called Paper Boy.
No.
You burn calories and you're driving the bike and you got to.
That sounds like
punch people. You got to punch people off their other bikes while you're driving it.
No, wait, no.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, so it was that was what was in there, and I converted it back.
So does the Hyper Sports? It looks like it was in Japan as Hyper Olympic 84. Does that have totally different gameplay than track and field, or is it all?
Yeah,
similar?
There's different. Well, it's the same play, but it's just different events.
Okay.
So,
Cool. So you have one of those.
Yeah, so then the other game that I looked for a long time, which I never even found in a warehouse, honestly, was a Burger Time. So I was looking for one I liked Burger Times. I mean, my top games is Bubbles, Frogger, Miss Pac-Man, Burger Time. And I have the Dermal Bubbles. I got that from Todd at TNT.
Oh, cool.
But Burger Time, I've been looking for one of those probably 10 years. And then all of a sudden, I go from no Burger Times to 5 Burger Times in the garage at one time. The cocktail table and 4 stand-ups. And I ended up trading some off for other games that had been traded. So
Burger Time grows on trees in Minnesota up here for some reason. They're super easy to find. Yeah. Oh. I found like 6 this past year.
Oh, I'll take one the next time you find one.
There's one at a garage sale in Egan for $50.
What?
Yeah. Pass. I hate that.
I go for about 800 around here. Well, about 800 in the Midwest.
Actually, I don't really like Burger Time. I just like the cabinet.
Yeah, it's a cool cabinet.
Yeah.
The game infuriates
I like it, but I wouldn't
me.
play it on the 60-1 because on the 60-1 it has that annoying whistling sound in the background.
Yeah, the sounds are messed up on that whole thing. I can't even play 1942 or 43. It's just you might as well just take 2 pencils and jab them in your ears. Because that's how fun it is. It's just not fun.
So I went up to with my Bubbles. I got the Durmold. I actually have a regular Bubbles wooden cabinet here too that I'm messing with, but
2 Bubbles?
Went up, yeah.
Wait a minute. You have 2 Q-Birds, 2 Bubbles. I see a pattern here.
Mark's kind of girl.
Mm-hmm.
2 Bubbles.
2 Bubbles.
So I went up to Todd and I was supposed to, I was in North Carolina at the time and somebody alerted me that he had that Durmold and I've been wanting one since I lost one out at a $50 auction one time back about 12 years ago.
We want to have Todd on the show. Can you get Todd on the show?
I can. Yeah, Todd's a great guy. I'll give him a call up.
He'd be fun.
He's a really fun to watch. His videos are fun. I like his
funny.
Yeah.
Just genuinely likes what he's doing. He's got a great staff.
Literally.
Yeah.
So, and he does that for a living, right?
Yeah, he's got it's like a warehouse kind of attached to like the front ends kind of has where he does the parties and stuff. Like there's party rooms and then he's got the arcade. And then beyond that's where they work on the games.
That's awesome.
Nice layout out there. So he'll probably want to talk about tapioca pudding a lot. He likes tapioca pudding.
That's weird.
We went out to dinner. He took me out to dinner at a diner, and I was probably like the youngest person in there. I felt like crazy. Like there's like 90, 80-year-old people all over the place, and there's Todd, and then there's myself, and then Wayne from Canada. Well, I guess he lives up there in Pennsylvania now, though, too. He came down and had dinner with us. This is like 11 o'clock at night too. And he was all like, "Have you ever had tapioca?" And I'm like, I don't mess with tapioca. I don't like that stuff. That's just the texture's weird. No. And he made me eat it on his video. And actually, I'm not going to lie. It was good. So kind of like tapioca again.
It's got an odd texture, but it is actually quite good. Yeah. It seems like every family reunion we had around here, we had some sort of tapioca growing up. So, I don't know. I have sort of a nostalgia for it. Tapioca pudding is so good. Napoleon, give me some of your tapioca pudding.
I haven't had anything all day. Shut up.
That would make for a much different scene if he smacked his pocket with tapioca pudding in it.
Yeah.
Much better. Should have been tapioca pudding and not tots. Just saying. Maybe.
Right.
So so those are your most coveted games. Out of all your warehouse finds, what's your greatest warehouse raid?
Game wise or amount of game wise?
Well, you pick. What was your most fun? What was the most lucrative? I don't know. How would you rate that?
They're all fun. Like it's just, unless you really like somebody's like, hey, they call you up and they're like, hey, I got this game, and you know what's going to be there while you're on the way up there. You have an idea. But what's more fun is just getting there and just the element of surprise and seeing what's in there and going through it for the first time and, opening the doors and you just, after they've been like, I've been in warehouses that have been sealed for 20 years. Like the door has not been opened in 20 years.
That's like Indiana Jones. You're just like,
it's really cool. It's like, the temple, you're opening and it's just really, that's kind of the cool aspect of it is going in there and seeing that. I mean, for the most part, it's there's really not, I mean, like paper boys and stuff, like, I guess, you know, a couple people just hit one that had like 4 paper boys in there. It's whatever. I mean, it's not really about rare games or this games, because it doesn't matter to me what it comes down to what's in there. As long as there's something on the list of that people are looking for that I get for them, that's really all I'm looking for. It doesn't really necessarily do anything for me if it's more rare games or more popular games, because I can have 10 people wanting a Miss Pac-Man, and if there's 10 Miss Pac-Mans, great. I just help 10 people get a game, you know, as there's that. But I mean, there was one not too long ago that had some nice Laserdisc games and some older tax scans, Solar Quests, Tempest.
Did you say tax scans?
Tax scan.
Was there more than one?
Scan. There was one. There was one tax scan, one Solar Quest, Tempest, a couple of those, couple Trons, couple.
God, people really want Tempest these
Red
days.
Tents.
Or maybe
Everybody wants. There's a flavor of the month every day. Like from what's popular now is going to change, you know, next month, and you just got to switch up with it and figure it out. So.
I always tell people that start out in this hobby that they tend to go crazy initially and just start buying anything and everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, after you do this for X amount of years, you tend to really whittle your collection down to, like, Jenn has, you know, 25 games, and you kind of get filtered down to just the very best, the things that kind of bring you the best memories, or, you know what I mean? It's not really about rarity. If it is, I think you're doing this for the wrong reasons. Right. You know, I'm with her. I think you should be doing it for, when I go to my basement and look at my collection, I'm like, damn, I have, every one of these games has a good memory for me because of, you know, something.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I'm buying Mousetrap. I'm going to go pick it up in a couple of weeks in Milwaukee.
I couldn't give one of those away.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, it is an XD game.
It's a cool game. It is cool, but it's just, it's a rare bird. You got to find that person that's like, yes, I want a Mousetrap.
Mark, aren't you looking for parts for yours still?
Yeah.
That's your answer. Yeah. You have the parts woman on the show, and you won't tell her what parts you need.
Well, I don't have it anymore. Actually, I sold. It's gone. I finally did sell it.
But of all the people,
Mark got it here.
But of all the people in this virtual room who might run into one, you may want to mention what you need. I'm just saying.
I think that they're a lot more common than we think they are. So,
well, I don't see them around Minnesota at all, and I figure they must have made a ton of them for Wisconsin. You know, the cheese factor and all that. Anyway, I'm going to get one, and it's not like a coveted game by a lot of people, but it's really fun to play. And I had it for my ColecoVision, and my fiance played it at MGC a few years back, and she said if you could ever find one, let's get it. So we want that game, and that's going to be in our collection. And the other, you know, like I have a Moon Patrol, which I played on my Apple IIc more than I played in the arcade. You know, but I love the game, you know, and it's not particularly challenging until you get up to higher levels, and it's quite boring for the first couple. It's like Dig Dug, right? You have to get past like the first 6 levels before it actually gets interesting. But those games resonate with me because I played them or coveted them when I was in the arcade. So my first games were the ones I wanted: Star Trek, Star Wars, Tron. They all happen to be movie-themed games. Tempest. And then from there, it's just sort of...
Tempest from the Shakespeare play. Tempest.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted Richard III, but I couldn't find 1 and 2, and I'm a completionist.
Couldn't find an ampliphone for that. Sorry. Only
I mean, that's good advice. That is good advice for anybody that's kind of just been in this hobby or just now kind of getting into it and stuff. It's just like, I mean, I'll throw his name out there. He might get mad, he might not, but like like Wayne, like, you know, I started talking to him, and he knows that I can, you know, he'll make mention. He's like, hey, I'm looking for this. And I'm like, I can go and get it tomorrow. Like, I know where it's at. So I was like, but, you know, and I go on these warehouses, and he likes EM pinballs. So I said, hey, I got this warehouse I'm going to, and there's like a bunch of EM pinballs. Do you want them? And then he's like, yeah. So next thing you know, I'm bringing like 14 games over there, and now he's out of room. And I'm just like, dude, like, you gotta like kind of pace yourself and just make yourself, like, especially if you're going to talk to me, like, you got to make a list, and you got to have it like just a memory of it, playing it. You know, don't just do it just to have, hey, I got games in a house, come check them out, boys and girls, you know, like, just make your list. And so he did tell me that I guess the game for him is Spy Hunter. Oh, okay. So I was like, well, I make 5 phone calls, and I was like, hey guys, Spy Hunter. And then out of the 5, 4 said yes. And out of that, then I just dwindled it down to who has the better one at the better price. And as soon as I get back from up north, we're going to go pick them up with Spy Hunters. So it's, you know, I mean, it just happened that fast. And he's like, oh, I'm looking for a cruising. And I was like, all right, you know, he's like, I'm going to pick up one for 300. I'm like, don't. Like, just stop. Do not pay 300 for it. You know, so I come over there. I went over there last night, and I dropped him off 2 pinballs, another game, and a cruising world. And I mean, I don't know. I don't care. He paid like I think he paid $175 for everything that he got from me. So it's just, I mean, that was still with me making a little bit off of it. So it's not, you got to
make enough to like cart this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not a big deal, but like cruising, I mean, it worked, you know, like and that's another thing with going into warehouses. It's really fun is, you know, you do go into them, and it's just like, you know, you get the games, and then, you know, finding them is a cool thing, and then getting them out and then cleaning them up and testing them is like another thing that I like to do. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? And then when it doesn't work, then you start cussing it out. You know? Well, but then when it works, you know, you get all excited, and it's a lot better. So.
I've only ever been on really one, it wasn't really a raid. We went up to a site where we knew there was a bunch of games. Dan actually was with me, and Dan, you videoed the thing, and you got a Bandito, and I think I may have mentioned this on the show before, but you should tell that story.
What?
The Bandito story.
What story? What about it?
The story of the Bandito.
There is no story. We walked by it. Everybody else walked by it, and I'm like, dude, that's a Bandito. And he was like, yep. I'm like, I'll take it. He said, okay. Pulled it out, and it was rusted from top to bottom. Like the joystick was just stuck. The spinner was stuck. It was rusted so bad, and it was covered in mud. And I'm like, well, this thing isn't going to work, but damn, it's a really freaking cool cabinet, and I'll see what I can do to get this thing up and running. It can't be that hard. So I brought it home and plugged it in, and sure fired right up.
Oh, I love that story.
Yeah, it was great. All I did is I then took it apart, cleaned it up, played great.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, I got a Star Trek, and I turned it on, and it worked for about 30 seconds. And then I spent like
a month. Cockpit, the
upright. Yeah, I have a cockpit.
Star Trek.
Star Trek. Yeah, it had the GO8, you know, so it worked for 10 minutes, and then I gave up the ghost. And then I worked on it for about a month and got it working, and then it was the power supply, and then the monitor went. And then I worked on it for about another month, and then it worked again for a little while. And it stopped working, and then I worked on it again, and then I sold it.
Yeah.
Aww.
You know, that's his bubbles. This thing, Duramold, like, I'm probably in it 4 monitors, 7 power supplies.
Wow.
2 wire harnesses, and then you know what? So it was working the other day, guys. It was working, you know. So Adam's like, "Hey, send me a picture for the thing." So I was like, "Cool, I'm going to do it right in front of this Duramold with it on." Bam! I spin it around. Power supply went out. You had no clue how mad I got. I was like, at this, I don't know if it's the plasticness of that thing, if it just picks up static, and it I don't know, because it's not wood. I don't know if it's more static involved and why these power supplies keep shorting out. But it's just like, you know what? I put one in, and it's just like, you know, 10 days later, boom, it's not working.
Well, and they're grounded. Why would it? I don't understand. Yeah.
I don't either, but you're going to see the world's first Bubbles Duramold canoe here pretty soon. So I'm paddling around and playing on it. It is. It's got a J-Rock in there. And,
wow.
Yeah. That's what, yeah.
Are you using a switching power supply then, or?
Yeah, switcher. Yeah.
Huh. Wonder if the old original power supply would work better. Just because it's, well, yeah. You never know.
I just wonder. It's cursed.
And allegedly, those things threw monitors all over the room anyway, so.
Yeah. Same thing with my Satan's Hollow. I traded a fully restored Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to the guy Mike in Chicagoland area, and he gave me the keychain, and on the keychain it said the Devil Machine, and 3 monitors later, now it's got to have board work, and the monitor still won't sync up. And
wait a minute, so you traded a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for Satan's Hollow or the other way around?
Correct. I found the cabinet, got the board, did new side art, fully restored the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, delivered it to, I want to say it's like Bolingbrook or something,
sure.
Illinois, near Chicago, a couple Christmases ago, maybe 2 Christmases ago. And I took, it was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I gave him, and he gave me the Satan's Hollow. So that was the trade. And, but it was the Satan's Hollow the Satan's Hollow was not working. The monitor, he said, the monitor's bad in it. So I was like, all right, cool. Pull the monitor, recap it. Somewhere in between the transition of the monitor being out of it, that I guess the neck tube got cracked, put it back in there. It starts screaming, So I was like, okay, throw that monitor out. Pop in another one. That one was working for a while. Then flyback went out on it. So I throw in one more monitor just for the time being. Now, you know how those games are so temperamental. I think I think I got a G07 in there, and it won't sync up. It just keeps scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So finally I got that situation under control. No sooner does that happen, I look at the ribbon cables on there, and those are toast. So replace the ribbon cables. Yeah. Then now the board's just like in a frozen state of mind. So at this time, I do not have the better deal at this point at all. I have the headache. But I think he ended up selling the turtles, and I mean, at the time, like 2 years ago, I think they were bringing about 8 or 1200s.
Do you know who CD Jump is?
So that's where my board's going. I was supposed to pull it and get that off on them Friday, but yeah, he's in Tennessee, so yeah, he's going to do the board for me.
Sweet.
So,
yeah, he does good work. Yeah. He fixed one of my Tron boards. So, what'd you say, Dan?
I said he did my Journey board. He does a great job.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and he's pretty quick. Turns him around pretty quick.
Yep. Yeah, that's what they say. Get him on a Monday, he sends them back on Wednesday or something. And me, I'm just not even finding the time to go into the garage and pull the machine out to pull the board.
It's worth it. Do it now.
That's right. I got a lot of stuff I got to ship out tomorrow, so I'll get it done tomorrow. That's my weakness. I can sell parts all day long. It's just boxing them and getting to the post office is what I hate. So I need somebody to work for me that'll do that.
I store mine in boxes.
Children. Use your children. Smart. Did I say that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you starting? Is that what you're going to do?
He's going to. I got a great job for you guys.
I've learned the hard way. If you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. So.
Yeah, that's true. No, you don't want a kid to do it. Just, no. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Right. Then you end up doing it yourself anyway.
Why does my Pac-Man board have a fruit roll-up on it?
Right.
Oh, that reminds me of a story. I was gaming with a bunch of buddies in the 90s, and something went wrong with one of my buddies' computers, so he opened it up, and there was a piece of American cheese inside. And it hadn't molded or anything. It had just stiffened. It was still yellow.
Nasty.
Yeah, it was gross. I was like, how did a piece of cheese get inside your computer?
That's gross.
The worst thing I ever found in an arcade game, though, was basically a mouse kingdom in a Star Trek cockpit that I eventually had to throw away. So sad.
Aw.
Yeah, I have pieces of it.
What's the worst?
They peed all over it.
Yeah, the whole thing was just, you could not get the smell out no matter what you did.
Just stop breathing, Dan.
What, me?
Oh, I don't know why.
So really the worst thing you found is a dead mouse?
No, it wasn't dead mouse. It was the land of, it was just poop and pee inside the thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about anybody else? What's the
mice?
Worst?
Mark, you go first.
Well, I bought a bunch of Donkey Kongs from Nick. I can't remember Nick's last name, but every single one had a mouse nest up in the marquee. in the same place. I feel like the same mouse was like starting like a condo, you know.
Maybe he just wanted a summer home.
I don't know, but it was weird. The same kind of little rat's nest in every top of the marquee, and I was like, this has got to be the same mouse. The style is just the same in the same place and everything. But that's about it.
I heard that rats are better inside the machines than mice because they don't poop and pee as much where they sleep. That's what I heard.
That must have been it. Because, yeah, it was pretty clean in there other than the nest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poop and pee.
Aside from what's the worst, what's the coolest find in one?
Ooh. $80?
Yeah, money.
Well, aside from the money, that's, I know.
I don't think I've ever found anything unusual in a positive manner anyway, in anything I picked up.
My pole position cockpit, the one that was at the, it turns out it was the same machine that was at an amusement park that I'd went to as a kid, and it was that I'd been in when I was a kid.
That's pretty
That is a cool story, actually.
That is cool. Yeah.
That freaked me out.
And the only two cool things I have is one is like I was cleaning out some coin mechs on a Donkey Kong, the red one actually, and it had a Statue of Liberty coin in there, I guess I think it was like maybe Sears or Jason. I want to say it's Sears or something, but it was like when they were doing some work on the Statue of Liberty, they took the copper from it or whatever and melted it and they made it into some coins.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so there's a Statue of Liberty head coin in there. And the other thing is, it was cool, is it's a video card like for movie rentals from Mr. T's Rentals, and it had this guy's name like Thomas Small or Thomas Cova or something on there. And the crazy story is I take a picture of it and I put it out on my page and I'm like, hey, this is a really cool find. It's somebody's video card from 1983. Well, I kid you not, this guy like takes it and he actually tracks down the person that the card belonged to, and he's hey, yeah, this is a true story, yeah. And he's like, hey, did you ever
video
have
rental card?
Account at what's that?
That was a video rental card, like a ID.
Yeah, so like
ID
like a
card?
Blockbuster card, or if you go to like where you rent movies from, like VHSs back in the 80s or whatnot.
That is hilarious.
But he tracks down the guy and he's like, hey, did you ever have a Mr. T's movie rental account? And he's like, yeah, that sounds familiar and stuff. And he's like, well, somebody found your card in an arcade machine, and how,
I like those archaeological
That's
finds.
like stalker status at its finest right there.
Right.
Those are
I respond
awesome.
to that.
Yeah.
Someone calls me up and says, hey, I found your Blockbuster in a pair of roller skates from 1987. I'd be like, yeah, goodbye.
Bring him over. Come over right now.
I've been looking for that.
I'll show you where I live.
Those are my favorite finds, though, the archaeological ones where you're kind of tracing something back to where it was at the time that the game was being used or played. My jukebox, actually, when I opened it up, had coins in it, but they were all from the era of the game. So, or the jukebox was made in 1975, and the coins were all pre-1978. So that was cool, and there was like $50 that had fallen on the floor because it took $50. So that was neat. And then my Star Trek cockpit, even though I ended up trashing it, was full of Beanie's Arcade tokens, which is a local arcade here in Bloomington. So just kind of neat to know where the game came from.
That was my old stomping ground, so I've always wanted to kind of find an old game that I played, so I'm really jealous of Mark. I think that's a really cool thing that he found
that's a good story.
Yeah, that is cool.
That he played in.
It really is.
That's neat.
Well, I think that's a good note to end on. I want to thank you again, Jen, for being on the show this week.
Yeah, no problem.
It's really great to have a new guest, a new year, and I would love to have you on again in the near future. Maybe we'll do like on the 10th episode, we'll just invite everybody to a chat that's been on the show, and if whoever shows up, we can just have a dialogue or something. That'd be kind of chaotic and fun. I don't know.
For sure.
But I definitely want to have you on the show again. If
then maybe Mark will tell me where he met me before.
We can't end the show yet. We can't end the show. You have to tell this story. You were like,
maybe we'll save this for part 2. Maybe.
No,
come on. Extended version. We're already.
I'm starting to have doubts that maybe I didn't meet Jen and it was somebody else, and I just got her confused with somebody. I don't know.
Possible.
Really? Somebody that's just as cool as me? Really?
See, if I start telling the story and then I'm like, no, that wasn't me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop telling the story.
Oh, like what state would it have been?
It was in Minnesota.
I've never been to Minnesota ever in my life.
See, so that's it. I
Dodged a bullet there.
There we go.
Okay.
God.
Oh my
I
god.
was looking at this going, no, wait a minute. That couldn't have been Jen.
Now I need to meet this other. Yeah, now I need to meet this other Jen. I have like a doppelganger or something like that.
All right. Well, again, thanks for being on the show. It's Arcade Radio.
No, it was. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Subscribe to us, peoples who are listening. We have iTunes, we have Google Plays, we have the SoundClouds. We're on the internets, on the Twitters, and we're on the Facebooks. You can email us at react@arcaderadio.com. Arcade Radio is spelled RCADE radio.com. There is no A at the beginning because we're double R's, and that's how we roll. Phone number is 612-548-GAME. If you ever want to leave us a prank call, a message, a kind compliment, give us a shout. We'll listen. Anyway, everyone in the arcade sphere, thank you for listening. See you next time.
Get down.
I'm boogieing right now.
Taking my pants off. Wait, no.
Wait. I'm turning my camera back on. It does nothing. I can't see you.
That's how I roll.
I've been off the whole time.
This is the part of the show where we take our pants off.
No.
This is the outro where we just say nonsensical stuff, and if people are still listening, it's like bonus, right?